On draft night, Anaheim stunned the hockey world by picking Beckett Sennecke third overall, igniting the what the duck frenzy and triggering instant backlash over passing up consensus stars. But after a late growth spurt and back-to-back seasons of 68 points and 86 points in the OHL, the question gets sharper. Was this a front office blunder or the kind of gamble that changes a franchise? What does Sennecke's meteoric rise really tell us about how good he might become? When the Anaheim Ducks called Beckett Sennecke's name at third overall, the arena buzzed with confusion. On every major public draft board, his name sat well below the big-ticket prospects. Elite prospects had him at 9, FC, hockey had him at 16. The Sportsnet panel stuttered through their shock. 3, that's a little bit of a shocker for me, they said. They figured maybe 10 or 11 for Sennecke. Cameras caught Sennecke's face, eyes wide, jaw slack, as if he had just been handed a lottery ticket he had not bought. Even he admitted later he had not expected Anaheim to take him that high. Across social media, the disbelief turned viral. Within hours, the phrase, "What the duck" was everywhere. Memes, hashtags, and homemade t-shirts. Ducks fans and rivals alike latched onto the moment, some laughing, some fuming, some simply baffled. The joke became a badge of anxiety and defiance, a way to process the risk that general manager Pat Verbeek had just taken on live television. Inside the Ducks front office, Verbeek and his scouting director Martin Madden Jr. insisted they trusted their own list, not the consensus. They pointed to Beckett Sennecke's late season surge, his size, his skill, and his playoff drive. But on draft night, none of that mattered to the wider hockey world. The pick was a gamble, and the stakes were clear. Every game Sennecke played would be measured against the stars Anaheim passed over. In the weeks that followed, every highlight, every misstep, every point, or lack of one fed the debate. The what the duck joke was not just a punchline. It was the scoreboard for a franchise bet that everyone could see. Beckett Sennecke's transformation began with a late, dramatic growth spurt that changed the way he played and the way scouts saw his future. Entering the OHL as a 5 feet 10 inches forward, he shot up to nearly 6 feet 4 inches in just 2 years, adding close to 30 pounds along the way. Suddenly, the hands and vision that once belonged to a smaller, agile winger were paired with a big man's frame. Sennecke described himself as a small person player in a big person's body, capturing the unique challenge of learning how to move, protect pucks, and generate offense with new reach and leverage. The adjustment was not instant. Early on, he had to figure out how to keep his edge work and puck skills sharp while his body kept changing. But as he settled into his new size, the numbers began to climb. In his draft year with Oshawa, he posted 27 goals and 41 assists for 68 points in 63 games, a leap from his rookie season, but only the beginning. By the next year, Beckett Sennecke exploded for 36 goals and 50 assists in just 56 games, finishing with 86 points. That kind of back-to-back production, especially from a winger still learning how to fully use his frame, turned heads inside NHL front offices. For Anaheim, the appeal was not just about what Sennecke was, it was about what he could become. A 6 feet 4 inches winger with top 6 skill, growing more confident in the trenches, and showing he could drive play against older competition. The evidence was there in the stat lines and the way he talked about adapting his game. The real question is this: how would that new physical package hold up when the games got tighter and the spotlight brighter, especially in the playoffs? Oshawa's OHL playoff run put Beckett Sennecke under the brightest lights, and he thrived. Across 16 games, he racked up 10 goals and 12 assists, finishing among the league's top playoff scorers that spring. Night after night, he delivered multi-point performances, often tilting the ice in Oshawa's favor with a single shift. There were stretches where the offense ran through him, especially on the power play, where he handled the puck as the primary creator, not just a finisher. His ability to attack defenders one-on-one off the right wall, cut inside, and slip passes through tight seams gave Oshawa options every time he touched the puck. What set him apart was not just the production, it was how he made it happen. Sennecke's hands are quick and unpredictable, letting him pull pucks across his body and change his shooting angle in a blink. He can fire a shot in stride or curl off the boards and pick corners before goalies can reset. Off the puck, his timing stands out. He finds soft spots as a late trailer, never just waiting for the play to come to him. In those high-pressure games, his combination of size and deception, along with a fast release, proved impossible to ignore. For Anaheim scouts, this was more than a hot streak. It was proof that his skill set holds up when the stakes are highest. A year after the draft, the microscope only sharpened. Sennecke's next test arrived not from the outside, but from his own body. In the OHL playoffs, he suffered an injury that forced him out of the final, a brutal blow for a player whose value seemed clearest in his absence. While Oshawa fell short without him, the setback became fuel. The following season, he roared back with 86 points in 56 games and another 32 in the playoffs, showing that his production was not a one-off. Even as he missed out on a spot at Canada's World Juniors camp, despite being a top 3 NHL pick, he kept his focus on the ice, letting his play answer the questions. Anaheim's approach offered a safety net most prospects do not get. After seeing Leo Carlsson thrive under a patient, sports science-driven plan, managing minutes and prioritizing long-term strength and skill work, the Ducks doubled down on that philosophy. Beckett Sennecke entered an environment built for growth, not just quick results. The performance staff kept close tabs on his workload, echoing the blueprint that had already paid off with Carlsson. Instead of being thrown into the deep end, Sennecke's path was carefully mapped, with offensive zone starts, power play reps, and a development plan that valued resilience as much as raw skill. Through his first 30 NHL games, Beckett Sennecke has done more than just quiet the doubters. He has forced them to check the scoreboard. 10 goals, 16 assists, 26 points. That is not just solid for a rookie. It puts him at or near the top of the league's freshman class, outpacing most of the so-called consensus picks from his own draft. Each night, the numbers stack up. He is not riding the coattails of a hotline mate or padding stats in garbage time. The production comes in all situations, on the rush, on the power play, and late in close games. Fans and analysts who once wore What the Duck shirts now find themselves tracking his stat line. The conversation has shifted from whether Anaheim reached to how much runway Sennecke has left. Every point, every highlight, is a reminder that the Ducks did not just swing for upside, they might have landed a player who can actually deliver it. The spotlight is still bright, but now it is catching a rookie who is not just surviving the pressure, but starting to set the pace for it. Beckett Sennecke enters the NHL with clear strengths and equally clear hurdles. His skating is smooth, but his first step acceleration sits at league average. And NHL defenders can close space before he finds top gear. That is a real test for a winger expected to generate offense. Along the boards, his size gives him leverage, but the physical strength to consistently win battles against veteran pros is still developing. The grind of a full season will reveal whether added muscle translates into reliable puck protection and possession in traffic. Decision-making remains a swing factor. Beckett Sennecke's creativity can tilt the ice, but he sometimes overhandles the puck, risking turnovers that spark quick counterattacks. These moments separate dynamic scorers from players who anchor a franchise. The projection for Sennecke spans a wide range. If his skating and strength progress, he could become a first-line winger with a 35 to 40 goal ceiling and an 80-point upside. Driving play and special teams. More likely, steady but unspectacular growth makes him a high-end top 6 winger, dangerous and trusted, but not a superstar. If acceleration and board play plateau, he still projects as a valuable 60-point support scorer. Anaheim's bet looks sound, but the next seasons will decide his true tier. Right now, every Sennecke shift is a referendum on risk and reward in the NHL's new era. Anaheim's gamble isn't just about one prospect, it's a test of vision versus consensus. In a league built on projection, the future belongs to those willing to see past the obvious. What do you see?